Welcome to the third episode of Eyes East, our series about looking at the recovery of Christchurch's eastern flatland suburbs. In this episode, we focus on the recovery of coastal New Brighton, from Southshore Spit through to Northshore and all the points in between. The area includes some stunning natural assets, a beautiful beach and dune system, an estuary, a river and the wetlands, and of course Bottle Lake Forest, connecting through to Brooklands and the Waimakiriri. But more than this, the area also features many diverse and strong communities, offering a range of lifestyles. Firstly, let's focus on the commercial heart of the area, the business district of New Brighton, an area that certainly has seen its ups and downs before and after the earthquakes. I had a coffee with Paul Zannen of the New Brighton Business and Landowners Association to learn more. Paul, how has the earthquakes affected the New Brighton area?
It's absolutely massive, Theon. Like the residential red zoning and the surrounding catchment areas has obviously had a huge impact on sort of the numbers that we have engaged through the area as well. So the red zoning of Bexley has a major impact locally. Through the commercial district, we've wiped out about 40% of the available retail space, which is a giant impact for out here, let alone obviously the psychology and the community and business sector here as well. The east was hit really, really hard.
What are the opportunities that present themselves now?
We set up the Business and Landowners 2.5 years ago, and my role is to make sure New Brighton's commercial district moves ahead. So that's my sole responsibility in the job. We branch out into the community sector here, which we've just seen going from strength to strength. So it's a lot of unity starting to come through. There's new people moving in, there's new appetite moving in for the commercial as well. With having 40% of the available commercial drop down to ground level, there's the opportunities that come with that. Pre-earthquake, obviously New Brighton has had a long, long history in Christchurch. You know, the last 30 years since the loss of Saturday trade, it's kind of gone on this downhill tangent when it comes to the commercial district specifically. And that's where the excitement lies now, is the ability to change that. That's something that's well within our reach, well within our grasp. If you're just looking at the commercial district, 80% is owned by private industry, and that's where those big driving changes come through. What the master planning process has allowed, working with council quite strongly, is that we get a framework of public space actions that private industry can partner into. So with the long-term plan, the master plan, all starting to mesh together at the same time, we get a very, very concise stage development of public realm works. That's really exciting. So there's some small roading changes, there's some of the infrastructure changes, obviously looking at the streetscapes and the aesthetics and amenity values here. There's a legacy project on the cards, which is the hot pools, and that's just the public side of things. It's not an exuberant budget by any standards, but it allows progressive change over the years. By providing that framework for private industry partner to sort of encapsulate, they also have a lead in time. So we can start introducing the right hospitality drivers, the right retail, the right accommodation, you know, getting people living above stores in the commercial district, which over time ends up being cost neutral thanks to rates increase in development contribution fees.
What are some of the physical changes that we can expect to see in the New Brighton Business District?
Traditionally it was zoned commercial district for 11 hectares, which is a really, really big chunk of land. So the commercial district's going to get reduced down to 4 hectares. The 11 hectares is from the days of Saturday trading and all those big footprint stores. Now, the big footprint stores aren't going to come back to Brighton. They're entrenched in that mall sort of culture, if you will. So by reducing it, we get all those new opportunities popping through, and we also get to acknowledge some of the issues around the floodplain through the area. What you'll see over the next few years is what we refer to as stage development. So there's a set of public works that'll tie in really, really well with private industry works. Over the next few years, you'll see RMAV come through, so that'll be an extension of that. And that allows us to shared space marine parade. Rationale behind that is reasonably simple. You get new points of development, but you get a bypass system. So we have a major events calendar here. We've got to be leading the charge on events in Christchurch. To get the engagement from the foreshore to the commercial district has been one of the things that's been highlighted for a long time. There's just no connectivity between the two. So those two public space actions will happen, and then you'll see 2 points of development in the commercial sector. These points will lead up to essentially an each street concept through the pedestrian mall, and then the introduction of the legacy project or the hot pools on the foreshore in New Brighton. So through the pedestrian mall, one of the concepts we've put in there is an each street concept from Rotorua. And it's very, very simple. It's literally just really nice post and beam construction of what you can do in a public space to create gathering points, but to also get private industry interest beside it. So you're still sheltered from the elements, and I think certain parts we need to incorporate that in design. But that comes down to clever design, and so evening hospitality is a big drive for us. At the moment we're sitting in Switch Espresso, which has done a rip-roaring daytime trade, and it's set a culture in a business that's starting to be replicated in a community. It's magic. So it's those little steps and stages, and there's hundreds of them on a strategic plan. There's many steps and stages, and there isn't actually one that's more crucial than the other. There's no big ticket item, there's no white elephant, there's no shining knights. It's just logical progression and very much partnered in locally. Grassroots is a word that we don't take lightly.
Now you focus a lot on the commercial element. Can you explain a little bit more about how the commercial is fitting in with the community?
With the business and landowners, we have the unique ability to not just focus on the commercial. We can zoom out as far as we like and really get a holistic sense of what's going on, from education providers to having real estate agents on our board that give us live data streams of what's happening around the suburb, and we get to work with those positively as well. So the community engagement here, for me, it's always got to be paramount to have a vision and the guiding principles, and they can only be set by the residents around us. It relies on private industry capital, but if that vision and that guiding principle, the community support is there, that's when the magic happens.
What are maybe some of the political challenges and financial challenges that you face?
Part of it is perception of Christchurch. We just don't appreciate what we've actually got, not what we need to get, what we've got right now. So those are one of the things, is the perception change. Political, a lot of this has been dealing with the bureaucracy, the financing and the politics of council as well, but we're getting there. You know, we've had a very strong long-term plan process, and a massive amount of New Brighton stood up and they went to council, they delivered their message. The other part, it comes down to dollars and cents. You need private industry, and without private industry, it won't just work on public expenditure here. You've got to get private industry to look and go, it's aspirational, it's inspirational, and it's profitable. And if they see those mechanisms kicking in, why wouldn't you invest in it? Why wouldn't you share that vision and that excitement of what's coming through the public, the community and business? My personal vision for Brighton is that we have a true village centre. We have somewhere where the locals are very highly engaged and passionate about, where we see maybe 2-3 story timber stone buildings. I think we need to set the bar really high with how we develop in Christchurch. Just raise that standard, you know. So there's been a lot of people talk about eco-villages, coastal villages. How do we incorporate those guiding principles into a built environment and reach for the stars? So really go for clever design. Keep it niche, keep it real. Don't start talking about massive high-rises left, right and centre. It's not appropriate in scale. So that's where the community, those guiding principles that they've introduced. You've got to remember, in New Brighton there's been 3 master plans in the last 12 years, and there's 25 years of data on community console. So it's the same things time and time again. Hot pools, shelter from wind, green spaces, 2-3 story, timber, stone, village. Those are already written down for 25 years, and they're spot on the money.
So lots of exciting plans for central New Brighton. Let's hope it won't be too long before we start to actually see things happening on the ground. Coming up, we look at the coastal lifestyle. Does this hold the answer to the area's future economic prosperity?